welcome to the first axe review in my carving axe series. I want to kick off the reviews with an axe that is nearly an heirloom to me. After my Grants Force Brooks wildlife hatchet, which I basically started all my carving with, this was my first, let's say, higher priced, distinct carving axe. And actually it took me a while to pull the trigger on this one. We're talking today about the Karlsson Slöjd axe. I had seen this axe a lot before, and there was always a problem for me with the axe, which was the handle. These axes used to come with a lot thicker handle, and so last year at Spoonfest 2015 I was handling some of the older models and they felt very thick and big in my hand, the handle, especially for my more compact hands, and I just never liked the feel. However, like after 2 or 3, one gentleman let me hold his axe, and for some reason the handle felt a lot better in my hand, and I asked him why, and he said something like from 2014 on they came with a more slender, different handle, and it felt incredibly comfortable for me right away. So I pulled the trigger on this one, made a leather sheath for it since it doesn't come with one. And yeah, so I want to kick off the reviews with this beauty. I want to go over a couple of points. First of all, Hans Karlsson and now Andreas Karlsson, his son as well, they are nearly legendary tool makers from Sweden. Something special for me about them is that they have a lot of tools, but it seems almost to me like as if they don't have a huge variety within a certain category. For example, the axes or the hook knives. There's only 1 or 2 models in each of those categories versus a lot of other blacksmiths who make greenwood carving tools or Slöjd tools, where you have all kind of different sizes and options in one category. And as you know from my hook knife review that I did about the Hans Karlsson hook knife, I really love that knife. It is my one tool option, my go-to option before I forged my own one, because it has a asymmetric curve that does different jobs, and I just love the steel, I love the knife, and I think the Karlsson family just nailed it to come out with tools that are so well designed that they are specialists just in a couple of different categories, or just a one tool option. As far as I know, and the specs are in the beginning of this video as you just saw, as far as I know this is 1045 carbon steel. I'm pretty sure about that. As far as the shape of the axe goes, we're having a, I think in archaeological terms you would call it a D-type, which is a certain kind of old Scandinavian, you want to maybe call it a Viking style axe head that has a beard but a more flat portion on the bottom. However, it is a little bit modified, and I don't want to go too deep into that since I'm not a specialist, but I have seen similar axes to this up in Denmark and Sweden, who would have been called a D-type. The blade is compact in its dimensions, and I think that makes it so incredibly versatile and effective. As you read before, this is not a heavy axe, but all the curves, the compact blade length, but still with a nice curve in it, in combination with this slightly back curved handle, just make it so effective. And that brings me to the application. When the axe comes to you, it has a pretty distinct hollow grind that is easy to maintain, and basically becomes a flat grind over time. So that brings me to the application. The axe lends itself perfectly to small to medium size Slöjd or craft tasks. I personally use this axe always for my spoon carving, if I'm not using my personally forged axe that I'm gonna show in another video. And this one, I don't know, there's something to it, the effectiveness of this rather small axe, the looks of it, the perfect execution of all the lines and everything. It is just great for spoons, small bowls, for cookses, for medium stock removal as well. But for me, first and foremost, this is a spoon carving axe, because that's what I mostly do with it. The handle is comfortable in nearly every position. It has a distinct ridge line on the front here, but it's less sharp than on some other axes I've seen, like the Swante. So it is still comfortable and connects with the first inner knuckle of your fingers, so you always have a good feeling to where the blade is orientated to. I personally hold my axes mostly really pretty much in the middle, where I have this kind of saddle here that just really blends perfectly as an extension of my forearm. And as you know from my axe carving video, I like keeping the pommel of the handle under or below the cutting edge, so I always work in a slicing fashion rather than kind of a wrist chopping way, and I just love using this axe that way. For heavier blows, it has a very, very comfortable pommel in the back, unless other axes that often have kind of an oversized pommel. This one really, really blends perfectly into your hand and makes it very comfortable in heavier stock removal blows. What else can I say about the axe? The pole is rather small and it's a little bit separated with a little bit of a grind, and actually I think hammer forged, a little bit separated. I use this axe very often for pounding something in. I think even if you just want to have this as an overall small hatchet, it would perfectly lend itself to this task as well. This axe really gives you the feel of working at a Viking ship building wharf or something, and you would feel perfectly equipped having this hanging from your belt and just using it for smaller tasks like making pegs or something for shipbuilding construction. I know that the handle comes in kind of a rippled version as well, which in retrospect would have been maybe a good idea to have. However, this handle here has seen a lot of coats of linseed oil and a little bit of beeswax, and by now it feels very warm and grippy in my hand whenever I use it. I just want to give you a very quick demonstration just of just a task that I would perform with this axe. So we have a rather big billet here that I would use for a cooking spoon, and just gonna start with some regular heavy blows. It's very effective. It's a light axe. Just if you're surprised that this wood is not flying off, and the axe is razor sharp, by the way. This is a rather dry piece of very gnarly birch that has a beautiful curly grain pattern, but it's definitely not a piece of birch that is easily worked. So for heavier blows with this axe, I'm usually choking up just a little bit. And as you see, I keep my pommel with this one just below the blade. This is definitely an axe that if you have to swing it all day long, it's going to be very effective, or efficient rather. It's not going to tire out your hand and your forearm too quickly. As you can see, the straight bevels make it possible to take very fine shavings clean off, so you don't have to do that much cleanup with your knife. So that would be the first two cuts I would do on a spoon to form the crank. If I'm using it more in a carving fashion, very often when I clean up a spoon or something, this axe is very comfortable with a rather not rounded, but with a chamfered pole, to put your hand just right behind the pole here and just carve with it more on it with a push cut. So you can see it performs very, very comfortably. In this fashion. The hollow grind over time became a perfect flat grind, and I would say we probably have a little bit under 30 degrees on these bevels, which is for an axe a very small angle actually. Axes very often have over 30 degrees on their blades, over 35, because the steel is not as hard. It's kept tougher and a little bit softer on purpose, but this one isn't. And yeah, what can I say? It's just so efficient with that angle. It wants to bite wood so efficiently. There's the rain. You can see how clean the axe cuts. There's hardly any axe marks here, because it just slices so beautiful. Very well, folks. I hope I could give you a little bit of an impression about the Hans Karlsson Slöjd axe. Like I said, this is a very special axe to me. I think it is an absolute impeccable design. It's beautifully executed. The people who made these or make these still are very, very skilled at what they're doing, and they exactly know what their products are used for. And that's very important, because very often you get tool makers who are very good at tool making, blacksmithing, and whatever, but they're not necessarily the people who use them themselves, and that's an important aspect of making a good tool. So before the rain is drowning me and I'm running out of light, I would like to wrap this video up. I hope, guys, that this was helpful for you. As I said, I make these videos first and foremost so people in different places of the world get an idea of what tool makers around them, so in this case in Europe or Northern Europe, what toolmaker around them is offering what product, so you can have a little bit of more confidence making the big commitment of buying an expensive tool, but that will without a question serve you for the rest of your life. And I think thinking in those terms, there is nothing, not such a thing like expensive, if you're really thinking about the rest of your life, and something that you hand down maybe to your kids or whomever you think is gonna carry on. So the Hans Karlsson Slöjd axe. If you had fun watching, please leave me a subscription and a thumbs up, and maybe some feedback down below. I'm always trying to improve my videos, of course, and I'm putting a lot of hours into shooting and editing these. I also have a website, woodsmansfinest.com, as well as woodsmansfinest on Instagram and on Facebook, where you can see my products, like my leather gear, my knives, of course, and whatever I hand carve with these axes and knives. So yeah, pay me a visit, I would be happy about that, and I'm gonna see you next time, folks. Cheers. So